Hey friends, Andrea here. I just wanted to make another video for my kind of April birthday month challenge. And this video is just going to be a super quick demonstration of how I made these strawberry sparkly earrings. And I made these for myself, and when I did my haul of stuff I forgot I had at my mom's house, I forget the name of the video, but I'll put it in the description, or maybe I'll put up a link here. I found that I had several pairs of just really simple earrings using these same glass strawberries, and since they were just sitting there unused, and I think I made them for a craft fair, and I never sold them, or they didn't sell. But either way, I had a bunch of them, and I decided that I would make a pair and give them to my mom so we can be matching. And I know that she likes these strawberry charms as much as I do, and we both like strawberries. Anyway, they'll be cute. So, and she's been recently asking me to make her some dangling earrings. So I just got out all the supplies to just exactly recreate, and it's a really simple and easy set of earrings, but it will require that you know how to open a jump ring. So you need to twist the jump ring. I'll show you that. And it will also require that you know how to make a loop on the end of an eye pin. And what I'm going to do, I normally would suggest using an eye pin and then creating your loop at the bottom, but I am actually kind of running low on eye pins, and I want to reserve my eye pins for when I really need them. And what I've done instead is I've pulled out a bunch of, I guess these are possibly head pins or eye pins that I cut off in the past, and they're just kind of like long pieces of wire. And I'm just going to make my own eye pins using the same method that you would do to close your eye pin with an eye on the bottom. So I'll show you how to do that, and I don't need them to be super long, since all I'm going to be doing is using them to make a loop at the top and bottom of each of these little beaded sections. So they don't need to be super long, and I kind of measured and thought, yeah, I could probably swing that. So we'll see. If it all goes south, I will go back to my trusty dusty eye pins. So to do these, I'm just going to give you a list of supplies and tools. So I'm going to need a pair of round nose pliers. I have a pair of round nose pliers here, and then I also have a pair of nylon tipped round nose pliers. And I'm really not going to be using these other than to hold my jump rings to be able to twist. Since usually I open them with my fingernails, I figure that's probably not good technique to be demonstrating for you guys, so I'll do it the right way. So you're going to need those, and then I also have a trimmer, a little micro cutter, and this is actually from just like the hardware store. And it's a little micro trimmer, sharp, to trim off the little end of my wire when I make my eye pin, or my eye on the bottom, and to make sure that I get a close cut. So you'll need those. And really, if you have another pair of pliers, you don't need to use these. You can just use anything that isn't going to leave a mark on your metal, like a pair of flat nose pliers or any other kind of pair of pliers. And then to assemble, you're going to need your charms. I have these little glass strawberry charms. And when I took them apart from the simple earrings, I mean, they were literally just this on an ear wire. I left the jump rings intact, and just because I didn't want to have to go back and redo that step. But you would need to get some jump rings for this project too. So I have the charms. You can use whatever charms you have if you don't have strawberries. They don't have to be glass, three-dimensional. They could just be like those flat charms that you like metal ones or something like that. And I have two I don't know what these are called, to be honest with you, but I have two of these AB crystal, they're kind of like flat crystals. I don't know what you would say, but they're about 6 millimeters, and they are drilled top to bottom this way. So they're kind of, they lay like flat, like a coin. I guess that's what they're called, like a coin crystal. Anyway, I have 2 of those, and then I have 2, I think this might be like a celadon or peridot. I can't remember. Think that is a 6 millimeter crystal bicone. I could be wrong on that. I think it might be 4 millimeter, or it might be 5 millimeter now that I'm looking at it. And these actually next to them, these might be 8 millimeters. So I could be off on my measurements, but so that's that you'll need, and you don't need the exact, size or exact color that I'm using. I'm just showing you what I'm doing to recreate. And then you'll also need, like I said, you'll need some eye pins or make your own out of wire, and you're going to need 4 of those. You're going to need some, in my case, I used some little daisy spacers. These are 4 millimeters silver tone daisy spacers, and I have 4 of those. And then you're going to need 4 of any kind of metal little spacer beads. These are kind of like hex cut spacer beads that I kind of took from some other project that I was doing. Besides that, you're going to also need some jump rings, and I got the smallest diameter I could find. I think these are 3 millimeter jump rings, and they don't need to be super heavy duty because it's not on your wrist, it's going to be on your ear, and you're not really going to be pulling on it too much. But I made these ones with 4 millimeter jump rings, and they're quite long, and I figured that for my mom, she might not want them as long, so I went with a slightly smaller diameter of a jump ring just so I could shrink it just a tiny bit, just a hair, make them a little bit shorter. So I'm going to go ahead and put these earrings just here so that they're still in frame, so you can kind of see them and reference them as we go. And I'm not going to speed this up, I'm just going to make it in real time. Oh, I think I also forgot to say you're going to need a pair of ear wires. So I have my ear wires here, and I just use stainless steel because I have metal allergies, and my mom does as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So my first step before I do anything else is I'm going to get these beads strung, I guess I would say, put onto the wire. And in order to do that, first need to start with my wires and make eyes on each end. For these, I'm going to make my eyes on the small side, only because I don't know if I'm going to have enough room here to get what I need, and I want to make sure that I don't run out of space. So to do that, I'm just going to put my round nose pliers and pick whatever width, I guess, of the round nose pliers that I want my eye to be. So I put my metal there, far down on the round part, and I'm holding it on the end so nothing is sticking up from the other side. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll it, and basically I'm holding my pliers with a soft grip. I'm not like, super hard pressing down, but I am gripping this wire so that it doesn't move around. As I hold it in this hand, I am going to push down with my thumb and put my finger on the back side of the round here, and that way I have some control over the movement of the wire as I bend it. And then I'm going to twist my right hand, and if you're left-handed you would twist your left hand, but you're going to do the opposite. But I'm just going to twist, kind of rotate in like a 90-degree action there, and then I will reposition around the loop that part of the loop that I've already created, and reposition my pliers, and then I will continue to turn. And then when I get to the end of my turn and the little loop is touching the wire, I'm going to reposition my pliers again and bend my loop so that it has like a little 90-degree bend. And I'll kind of show you what that would look like, and the outcome should be like this. It should have a little loop on the end, and then it should have a little bend at the neck where it goes straight down. So that's the ideal outcome. So when you're first starting out, practice this, with some like cheap scrap, and or some scrap wire or something like that, or just get, the cheapest kind you can find, and you can always trim off, the end that doesn't work and keep going, and keep practicing. But it's a good idea to practice with stuff that you're not, trying to like, oh, everything hinges on this being completed correctly, like a project that matters a lot to you, because it's hard at the beginning to really get a good technique with this. So I've been doing this for a while, and I'm still not, everyone is not perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And I'm twisting it, and I just twisted about halfway. So that's what it looks like right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and reposition, like I said, because my pliers was here, so I'm just rotating it back, repositioning it, and then doing it again, another kind of twist, and now my wire is touching. So I don't know if you can see that. Now my wire is touching, and I'm just going to put my pliers back in again so that the neck, or the, I guess, one plier is right where I want the little bend to be, right on the opposite side of where that other wire is touching, basically. And I'm gonna, instead of pulling like I was pushing this down and pulling it towards my hand away from me, I'm going to align it, and I'm gonna push the piece of metal towards me instead, so just to make that bend. So you can, some people do it like this and just leave it, but I don't think that looks very good. So, and that's how you can kind of tell when someone is not very experienced, is that they don't have that bend. So I'm going to just go like that. And then that looks good to me. I'm going to just I noticed that it kind of tweaked and bent as I was making it. So I'm just going to put it right in between my pliers, like all the way, and kind of bend it so that it's straight, because I don't want it to have a little tip to it, or a dip or a bend. So now if I compare the one that I made to the kind of mass-produced one, that is very, very similar, almost the exact same. You can see the one that I made, there's a little bit of a indent where I used my pliers, but that doesn't bother me at all. If I was using a really fine silver or something like that, I might not, do that. So next I'm going to make this little component here, which is got the 2 silver hex spacers and that light green. So I'm going to grab those, and if they don't fit, I have a little, miraculously it fit. But if they don't fit, I have a little bead reamer that I can grab and make the hole bigger on these. Let's see, I might have to go and get that, because some of these beads are not cooperative. And I know that this wire is a little bit on the thicker side. Now I'm going to go get my bead reamer, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have my bead reamer, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like. It is made by Beaded, and I'm just doing this because I couldn't get my wire through the hole. So I put the little tip, it's like a diamond tip. I'm going to put my bead over it, and just kind of hold my bead in place with my fingers, and then kind of rotate it. And it has a little button that you press to get that to spin. So let's see if that gave me enough of an opening. Looks like it did, so that's good. Alright, so I'm done, and I can make my other loop at the end. Okay, I'm just going to push this down a little bit so it's like closer to the neck there. So I do want to keep this short. I don't want to have like a huge loop here, and I don't need all this extra. But when you get to making loops on the other side, it can be really hard to figure out how much space you're going to need there. And to be honest, sometimes you just have to, it's a hit or miss, but I've gotten to the point where I kind of know how much wire I need on the end there. So sometimes I'm not always correct. So it's better to leave just a little bit more than you need and trim it off if you can. Oops. But what I usually try to measure is about double that length. So this little loop is about, I don't know, 3 millimeters. And if I kind of estimated like, okay, that's about how long that 3 millimeters is, and then I double that, and maybe give myself just a little bit extra, that's usually going to be plenty of wire for me to bend it into a loop. So I don't want to get too short, but I do want to make sure I have not too much wire. And when I clip it, I usually either clip it down onto my like bead board here, or I clip it into my fingers, and then otherwise that little tip is gonna be flying all over the place. And trust me, I've had it get stuck into my carpet and then stepped on it, and that kind of hurts. So the other thing I want to do is I kind of want to just rotate this so that my wire on this side is a different direction. And there's not really a real reason for this, because it's just that I want my earring to hang and dangle really easily and nicely, and I think this is going to make that happen. But if I was making like a bracelet or a necklace with this, I would keep them all the same direction. I wouldn't turn it in a different direction. So I'm just going to go ahead and make my loop again, same way, exactly same way. Oh, and look, I made it too long. So I think I may just need to trim off a little bit. So I'm just going to cut off about that much and start over. And that's okay. You learn as you go. So I'm going to go ahead and get my little loop going again. And that looks better already. Okay, got my loop done, and then I'm going to bend in the other direction. And sometimes when you're doing the bottom loop, you need to clean it up a little bit. You just kind of like press it down in place, or twist it. And this is leaving some little marks on my wire, but I'm not that worried about it. No one's going to look at it up close, and it just looks, it's fine looking. So I am going to just take it and make sure it's kind of straight. Looks good to me. So one down, I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to go back and do the other little one, and then I'll come back. I have my 2 done. So I'm going to put those aside for now, and I'm going to do the exact same step for the middle piece, which is that coin crystal and the 2 daisy spacers. So same process. I'm going to get my wire, my little wire, and I'm going to make my loop. If you're already using an eye pin, you don't have to do this step. You just need to make your loop on the bottom, but I don't have that already done. So I'm just going to make a small loop, since I don't know how much room I have here, and I'm gonna bend. Looks good. And then I'm gonna put my little daisy spacer on, and this is just, you don't even have to do this step. I just like the way it looks. Feels like the bead is naked when it doesn't have any spacers to me, but that's just my preference. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make another loop on the end. And again, my rule of thumb that I kind of try to use is just look at how long this wire is, this little loop is, and then make the end about twice that length, and maybe twice that length, and then just a little hair longer for the neck. So looking at that, oops, I think that might be just a tad too short, so I'm going to go a little bit longer. And then I'm gonna make my next loop. Oops, kind of twisty over there. And then make my little neck. And it's almost a little bit too long, and I think I'm gonna make it just a little shorter. And the way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna take the end where the where I started the loop, you know, where it's just goes to the end of the wire, and I'm gonna cut with my little trimmers just a little piece of that off. And then it's gonna be like I have to start my loop again. So I'm just gonna kind of rewrap, rebend, I guess, remake my loop. And then I have just a slightly shorter amount of space for the neck here. So I think that'll look better in the long run. And I don't like to have it be too much open space. So I'm gonna just kind of make sure that my little bead here is twisted, or my little loops here are twisted in opposite directions. And then that's done. So I'm gonna make my second one and come back. Okay, I have my second piece done. So now I'm gonna put these two up here, and I'm gonna go ahead and work on putting these onto the jump rings. So I already have jump rings on the loop of the charm, because that was how they were before I kind of had to disassemble them from another pair of earrings. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab one of my tiny jump rings, and the technique is you grab it with your two pairs of pliers and you twist to open it. And I'm not sure if that can be visible here, but I didn't pull it open because that's going to destroy the integrity of the circle. So I just twist it, and then I'm only twisting it enough to get it over this little loop here. And I do want this loop here because that's what's going to give this a dangle. So I want basically two loops, and that's what I've done on this earring here. Is I have two loops, and then I hooked it to my crystal coin. I'm going to do that while it's still open. I'm going to link it to my crystal coin. So I'm just kind of like putting it in there, and then I'm going to close it up. And I'm just going to grab it with my other pliers and twist it closed. And this is kind of challenging when you have not much room in there, but and these pliers are these ones are a little bulky here for this project. I was looking for another pair of pliers that are skinnier, but I couldn't find them. So got one down, and then my next step is going to be on this pair. I did another loop to connect the two kind of chain segments for that other crystal bead. So I'm going to get my next one and prepare my loop. And sometimes they're not all the way closed, and you can see that, you know, it's slightly open. And instead of turning it in the opposite direction of where it's open, I'm going to just continue with that already existing twist, just to not add any additional pressure to the charm, to the bead, to the wire. Because too much bending and twisting on this kind of jewelry wire, if it's cheap, is going to result in a break, because it's not super strong. If you bend and twist it too many times, it'll lose its structural integrity. So I'm just trying to make sure that it's closed all the way. And that looks good enough to me. And then my last step is I have another jump ring. I guess I should have said how many jump rings you need at the beginning of this video, but so you're going to need 4 jump rings per earring. And the last step is to connect the ear wire to the chain of that loop here. at the top for that green crystal. So I'm just going to open this one up. Sometimes it helps if you find the seam first. And oh, these are just not a good pair of pliers to do this with. There we go. Opened it up. I'm going to string it on and put this ear wire on. And if you were doing earrings where there was a certain direction you needed to face forward, it's really important that the back of your earring is facing you when you put the ear wire on in this direction, because it's going to mean that the ear wire, the back of the ear wire is facing me, the back of the earring bead or charm is facing me. If the front of the ear wire is facing me like this, then this is the front of the earring. So just something to help you remember, because that alignment is important to some people if they're using certain types of beads and they want one to show face forward. But in this pair of earrings, it doesn't matter because it's the same on either side. So I've just closed that loop. And now my one earring is done. And I just need to repeat those steps for the second earring. And I like that everything here has enough room to sort of move, but it's not super stiff either. So now I'm just going to repeat those same steps with these other two little charms or elements, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I finished my second earring. They look really cute in the sunlight. I will say, if you're wearing these out on a sunny day, be prepared for this AB to make little rainbows on your window, or if you're driving in your car and the sunlight catches it, it'll make like little window rainbow reflections, which is super cute, and I love that. So shout out to whoever came up with that AB finish on a crystal. It's just super fun and cute. And then it'd be cute to make like a matching pair of or matching bracelet or necklace to finish off the set, but I haven't really done that. I might create like a little matching necklace, but I'm more of a bracelet person, and I don't see this being super comfortable to wear as a bracelet on my skin because I have a metal allergy, and since none of this is really touching my skin when I'm wearing it as an earring, it's going to be a better fit for me. So anywho, I'm rambling now. So I just wanted to share that with you, and hopefully it inspires you to make something really simple and dangling and cute for the spring. Strawberries are one of my favorite fruits of all time, all year round, and I love getting them fresh from the farm stand near my house. So I've got a fridge full of them right now, and that of course inspired me to think about making another pair of these earrings to give as a gift. So hope that I shared some techniques with you that you'll be able to practice and implement, and that it gave you some ideas for ways of making some things with the stuff you already got, or give you some information that you could use to improve your techniques. So if you liked that video, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and anything that you do to watch my video, to leave comments, to subscribe, like, all that stuff really helps my channel out, helps me be seen by more people, and it helps me share my knowledge with more people. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.